Extra extra, read all about it. Welcome to the Empire's Recap, and today we'll be going over the chaos and drama of our somewhat respected rulers. This week, mistakes are made, revenge is had, and there's a lot of talks regarding a strange purple lore rift.
Guess Lizzie can't ignore the frog eggs anymore. They've hatched. At least now they can gain free citizenship, and Lizzie has a good reason to add slime to her economy. After building her farm after the model of Waddles, Hermes pays her a visit with berries in their hand. What a good demigod. But it was all a ruse as zombie sausage jumps out of a tree to quote-unquote scare her. It didn't exactly work. Her new business seems to be blooming since the reason Sausage actually came over was for slime. Word of Ma travels fast. She then builds a fishing shack for her fresh new fisherman, selling slime with nothing hidden under the trapdoor, and attempts to advertise the new slime business with cod advertisements in the pathways. Wait, they're dying? Oh no, this is a disaster. One achievement later, Lizzie decides to go on a walk with her frog children. Something sparkling catches her eye, a sort of strange purple portal. Well, time to send Gary the Explorer. Let's hope they return safe and sound.
And a long overdue greetings to the Beans fam. That's us, apparently. Joel's not sure about it either. He is back, and there is much rejoicing and things to be done. Joel checks on the sales in the toy barn and finds all the sheriff toys missing. Wonder who could have done that. Joel's been planning a map room for the area and feels it's time to add layers to Stratos' pathways. Who loves layers more than an ex-ogre? An unsubtle call to the loreheads. Hermes is home again, with another gift from Sausage, a totem of undying. Not like Joel needs that because gods don't die, but it's a nice thought. He puts a bridge over his bridge so you can bridge while you bridge, and lines it with a floating garden path. The map room is yet another sphere, with the massive map taking up the entire floor. Or at least it will once he actually has the maps to put in it. Seems that cartographers need an observatory before they'll move into his village, and Joel obliges. He has absolutely zero trouble mapping the local area, and with his work done, it's time to play. And by play, I mean prank. If the sheriff is going to be stealing, which is the most inappropriate coming from Mr. The Law, then Joel has to get back at him, no matter how much extra grinding it is.
And this time he's taken it too far. So, I'm also going to take it too far.
Joel wraps the entirety of Tumbletown in a beautiful and calming blue sky that just happens to be an exact match of Andy's wallpaper from, yet again, Toy Story. He takes the time to search Jimmy's things for the missing toys, but doesn't find them. Or steal anything, because he's not a thief, Jimmy. Satisfied, Joel decides to take a trip over to the Great Bridge. Pixlriffs' Emerald Exchange is quite handy for getting the most out of his ores, and it's nice to check in on all of the new additions, including the strange purple rift in the mountainside. It looks lonely, so Joel tosses in a sheriff toy. Everyone loves those. The Great Bridge is getting love this week. Let's check in on its maker. We begin our meeting with the archaeologist appropriately in the past, in more ways than one. Pixlriffs has found the server's oldest building, Ollie's base, from back before anyone but him was on the server at all. Something of this much importance belongs in the museum, and so, after taking careful records of every single block placement and chest loot, he packs the entire base into boxes and bundles to be moved to a more preservable location. So that's where Ollie's house went. Back in the present, Pix is lamenting all the plans that keep getting pushed off. He's just now getting to the second on-ramp for the Great Bridge, after fiddling with his magic watch to find it under an apparent landslide. On-ramps mean foot traffic, and Pix runs into False stocking the shop under her hot air balloon. She's a little skittish around a massive extinct bird, but warms up to Winchester after a quick wing race. Pix proudly shows off the Froglight orchard and trades some of its fruits for desperately desired mending. Bringing things back from the dead does seem to have some interesting evolutionary effects. The time is finally right to pull Ollie's megabase out of storage and rebuild it in the museum in a place of honor. You don't get a more essential piece of history. He meticulously recreates every single chest's inventory, with some classic archaeologist commentary on the esoteric arrangements, and some light lamp shading of the whole thing.
Well, this is probably kind of like stealing, which is something that the British Museum and other museums across the world have done for ages.
A quick check to make sure he's not being lagged out by chickens, since that's going around apparently, and we get our weekly review of new towers. fWhip's made a gorgeous goblin holding a wither rose because of course, but the free pork is nice. Pix tries not to spoil another tower, but since the video went up 2 hours later, there's no harm, only foul, in pointing out the parrot. The glint of purple from the rift catches Pix's eye, and he does the only sensible thing, throw a bunch of eggs at it. Hope whatever it leads to likes chickens!
fWhip very much does not like chickens. After getting back from his honeymoon and finding a short video on his computer of Scott, Sausage and Gem having invaded his office and declaring retribution, he is very wary. And he has the right to be so. He finds thousands of chickens in his base, and while killing the handiwork of the prankster, he comes across a chest from the sheriff declaring that he's been fired. He goes to the law cave to hatch a plan. He can't be fired, he hasn't broken any laws. If anything, the sheriff is the one who's broken the law. fWhip travels to Tumbledown to make some notes on the law-abidingness of the sheriff. He's definitely broke Law 1. The sheriff has some truly unsafe working areas. He's disrespecting himself with that. fWhip issues Jimmy with a warning to step up his game if he wants to stay the sheriff. Now to deal with the chicken problem. Lizzie might have some foxes for him to borrow. Turns out she does. She lets him borrow them, and he takes them to the Goblands to join the cleanup operation. It's a bit slow for him though, so he joins in the slaughter with his sword. By the end of the 2 hours, he's killed over 1,000 chickens and spotted the source. Someone had hidden chicken spawners in the ceiling of the cavern to shoot eggs down on the goblins. There were like 15 of those things. Whoever done it had been thorough. To calm down after dealing with the chicken scandal, fWhip decides to join the other empires in building a post on the Great Bridge. He wants to provide food for the masses. Mainly pork. Only pork. And to advertise this, he builds a large statue on the bridge, of a goblin holding some dripstone and a wither rose. He's acquired some pork and stocks the barrel for the bridge, before doing what he's known for, building. Back in the Goblands, he uses his inspiration from his honeymoon trip in Italy to include some of the building style into the Goblins. He plans a whole new section in the cavern with dirt. While on the topic of people, he needs more emeralds, his butchers aren't enough. Outside the law, it's villager breeder time. He wants 20 more butchers to get as many emeralds as possible when he does the rounds. He has an embassy to keep stocked after all. Gobland is truly lawful, as when he is digging out his expanded trading hall, he finds a rare, fertile goblin cavern, perfect for farming and bringing more goblins into Gobland. He then has to work on the process of converting these villagers into butchers, and luring the Assistant Minister of Economic Processes to prepare the villagers for goblinification. He's getting scarily efficient at this. This hard work pays off though, as emerald production has increased from 5 stacks per cycle to 7 already. In the small homes he built earlier in the Italy-inspired housing district, he names the residents of 3 homes, which are about to be decorated on livestream with the new Empire's Sona residents. Also, it has come to his attention that the bard, Ollie, is still in debt and hasn't paid, and there is interest. In his ongoing expansion of the Goblins, he fixes the long broken cobblestone generator and finds the sheriff's ultimatum. But he can't be fired, so he leaves something gold. A pufferfish, not his badge, but they look similar, don't they? He hears an explosion as he's walking across the Great Bridge to stock a barrel of copper at his embassy, and sees a weird purple riff. Goblins, however, know not to dig where there's a clear warning, so he gets the heck out of Dodge. Back in the cavern, every goblin needs a forge, so he builds a lava-powered giant forge to build weapons someday. Anything orange-coloured is fireproof, including fWhip's hair, which is totally why he can build it out of acacia to redirect the natural lava in the forge. The end build looks beautiful, but the aberration is cut short by the sound of the emergency horn. Lizzie has a situation. Gary has gone missing. Luckily, fWhip has his own equivalent of Gary, the greatest explorer to ever lived in Animalia, in Snort's younger brother Sniff, the greatest explorer to ever live in the Goblins. They send him into the rift on a rescue mission, and now that's all that's left to do is wait.
Last time wasn't the last we've seen of the bandits. Jimmy went down on a stream to uncover many secrets left by the bandits due to their untimely death. While he was down there, he dug up a treasure chest with many riches, and center stage was the sheriff's pull string. He quickly hides it again, and nobody is allowed to talk about it. No Tumbletown is complete without a saloon, and the sheriff finally gets around to building one. It has been highly requested, quite unfortunate for Ollie, the local bard, and his hatred for taverns and similar businesses. Unfortunately though, it'll have to be decorated later, as the law has a meeting. In Eversea, Joey and Jimmy have a chat, which is a mild way of putting all the threats and innuendos made between them. Jimmy owns the gunpowder business, and Joey is encroaching on his profits. They argue over Jimmy not stocking his shops and oversharing gunpowder, and Joey disrespects him many times. Joey seems to expect the sheriff to always know what's going on, but he's being unreasonable. Jimmy can't know every crime if he's not told about them, and Joey never told him. They go back and forth for quite a while before finally sitting on a deal both can be happy with. Joey accepts to split the profits between them, selling one stack for 2 diamonds, and Jimmy can have access to the farm. This is a win for the sheriff, even if he has to clean up the torches in Joey's mob farm. In Tumbletown, there appears to have been a visitor and his ex-deputy, guys, ex-deputy. fWhip declares Jimmy is breaking multiple laws that he himself created, and there will have to be an election if he doesn't clean up his act. There can't be an election. He found the hat, and the hat found him. His ex is just bitter that he was fired, he thinks. It was an entirely reasonable firing, and fWhip needs to get over these emotions. Jimmy goes to the Goblands and leaves a sign reminding fWhip that he has to return his deputy badge. It is not up for debate.
Joey promises that he's not actually going to be selling parrots out of his parrot shop. He could never part with these cuties. It's a mere aesthetic business. On the topic of business, it's finally time to deal with the sheriff, once and for all, before this gunpowder tomfoolery gets really out of hand. And what do you know, the man's already skulking around Eversea. Their conversation is, to put it lightly, tense. The sheriff will let the pirate keep his farm if he can take from it to fuel his shop? Joey is not about to be exploitable labor for the man, no matter how cute that man is. He puts his foot down. Why should he respect a sheriff who can't even find the person who keeps leafing Joey's chest room? Shouldn't he know when crimes are happening? After the tension nearly breaks out into violence, Jimmy finally listens to reason. If he's using Joey's farm for his shop, Joey gets half the profits. Jimmy's wagon has brand recognition, even if it was previously never stocked, so it's simpler to keep selling it from there. All Joey wants is his fair share. The deal is settled and Joey's temper passes. He even reminds Jimmy about their common enemy. Not much a god could do against dynamite, is there? With the sheriff pacified and the farm unlit, Joey can finally move on to figuring out his Great Bridge Tower. Real estate is limited, but the second spot right next to the gate is still free. A pirate's luck. After another gravel grind, doesn't anyone sell concrete in this place? Joey has the materials he needs. He builds a beautiful parrot, the tallest tower on the whole bridge. But what to put under it? After about half a second of consideration, the pirate decides to do what he does best, borrow other people's stuff. He fills his space with things stolen from the other towers, as well as a tiny bit of his own empire's wares. He doesn't have a name for it. I suggest Parrot's Pirated Goods.
Concerning things are happening over in Cogsmeade. FalseSymmetry goes to bed haunted by the ticking of a repeating clock. Tick, tock, tick, tock, and wakes up to several things having happened while she was asleep. Clocks everywhere, and copper aging. Her daily signs tell her to watch for the wisps. She acknowledges it and starts building. First building the clock tower to the bridge, then she terraforms the land. She even stocks up her shop on the Great Bridge and meets Pix and his dodo looking for a trade. After getting a delivery of weakness potions there with the villager operation downstairs, it reminds her of a spot to imprison the creepy pumpkin guy. So she digs it out and traps him in a cage underneath the villagers.
It's all about the best friends this week with Scott's Major. His llama besties need a bigger home than the small pen he first put them in. The garden is in the works. He plans out the base of the llama garden with leaves, making a center point and these little hedge arches. But before he can truly get into the building, he gets a call for help from the sheriff, who has apparently started a raid in Tumbletown. There's a weird sacrificial thing in the middle of Tumbletown too, but I'm sure the sheriff is dealing with it. They defeat all rounds of the raid, and Scott gets a few totems of Undying and even an unspecified future IOU. Seems like a win to me. Back within the much different vibes of Chromia, Scott works on his llama gardens and adds lots of cute decorations. He even has a pond with a fish called Dan. Train mechanics come in handy when transporting the llamas to their new home, and it's the biggest train Chromia has ever seen. A few of Scott's llama best friends are not in the llama garden, however. Owen the bartender has gotten some pretty negative reviews in the tavern. Scott really needs to send him to some anger management classes or something. And the two lamb ambassadors on the Great Bridge have gotten their names, Crow and Mia, fitting seeing as they are the ambassadors for Chromia.
Join us next week for more chaos and shenanigans. Thank you for watching, and thanks to everyone for helping out with the project. Check them all out below.